So my name's Aaron. I'm talking about Ripelist today. It's kind of a little personal project me and my brother made not too long ago, and figured since it's food and tech this month, why not talk about it? So kind of a little precursor before I play the demo. I just made a little video. How it came about. It's like my brother and I are from SoCal. Don't hate us for that, but it's like a lot of situations where we're hanging out at home and a neighbor would come by with a bag of groceries, not groceries, but like stuff from their backyard. Apples, oranges, potatoes, someone brought potatoes. It's like just dropping it off at the front door, like, hey, I can't eat all this stuff. Can you help me? Do you want a bag of this? Like, okay, yeah, sure, I'll have a bag of that. And it happened with a few different neighbors. And fast forward to college, I had a house that I rented that had giant apple trees in the front yard that would just drop apples in like 2 or 3 weeks. Just a crap load of apples that there's no way even a college kid could eat. And people would come to the door like, hey, can I grab some of these apples? Yeah, sure. It's like, man, this happens more often than not. Like food kind of, whether by design or by accident, being wasted in people's yards. But there's no real use case for that in terms of like, I don't want it, you don't want it, like, what are we gonna do with it? So, on top of that idea, cottage foods. So, I don't know, a lot of people have somebody that they know that is really good at making something. Like my dad makes really good bread, but he has no outlet for that. Like I can only eat so much of his bread before I get sick of it, and he keeps wanting to make it. It's like, Dad, I don't need your bread. I'm not going to give it to my friends. Just stop making bread. But, so like, it seems like there's a lot of people out there with the talent for food, but they don't really have the resources to start a business with it. But they don't really have an outlet for it either. So that's kind of where the idea stemmed, was like, if you have something that's homegrown or homemade, but you don't really have a place to distribute it or, share it, how could you do that? And that's where Ripelist comes in. So I wanted to learn mobile development, and this seemed like a good opportunity to do that. So my brother and I decided to make Ripelist. So how it works is, and this is live on the App Store, by the way. It doesn't exactly look how it does here, but it's kind of buggy. Don't give me a hard time for that. But basically there's listings, and people can add a photo, they can put whether it's for sale or for trade or for free, how far away it is from your current location. And each one of them you can tap, and it's got a description that people can add, like, hey, I want to trade for this. It's got a little map where you can put it, and you can, zoom in on the photo if you really care. And if you're interested, you can reply to that listing. So as you go forward, if you pause it here, so you can sort it by closest or most recent, and I figured this was kind of a big deal of like, when you're dealing with food, it's not like Craigslist, like I'm not gonna drive 10 miles across town to get 5 strawberries, but I might go like, one neighborhood over, 1/10 of a mile or something. So I figured it was important to sort by closest or most recent and have a little map view in there. These are all real postings. We have a couple super users. Again, this is like a soft launch, so like not a lot of people know about it, but some people have a lot of stuff to list. So if I had something that I wanted to list, you can log in via Facebook or create an account and add a listing or request. If you see back there, you can add a request too, so if you're like craving like an apple pie or something, you can say, hey, I want an apple pie. I'm willing to pay this much, or I'll trade for this. And I've actually gotten an apple pie off of this because I was craving apple pie. So I guess, if it's a giant failure, at least I got that out of it. Eggs seem like a big deal. We kind of started launching this down in Selwood, at least like kind of talking to people about it, and because a lot of people had like chicken coops down there. And yeah, so we launched it there, and some people started listing eggs, and I figured that was kind of a good thing, because a lot of people just can't eat all their eggs, and they just want to get rid of them. So, yeah, so you can add a photo, you can put your location in, and bam, there it is, and submit it, and then it'll be right at the top of the listings. And there's various little other superfluous stuff, like last night I kind of posted a demo message just for this tonight that I'm interested in kombucha, and she already responded, so I guess I better respond to her that I actually want kombucha. But yeah, so you can kind of change a couple things. There's the question mark is like a feedback tab, the settings, you can set your, oh, is that it? Is that am I done? Oh. All right, well, that's pretty much it, so good. That's my very additive presentation. Thanks. So questions? Questions? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I have two questions. One, what is the economic driver that you plan to incorporate into Ripelist?
As far as like a revenue model? The only thing I can think of is kind of a freemium-based model where you can list something for free or request something, because I don't think people would pay for features this simple. But if you had if you were targeting more of the cottage food person that was kind of in between, like starting a vendor stand at the farmer's market, but they still wanted to kind of make some side money, you might be able to sell them on some suite of extra products to kind of get that message in their storefront out there.
And then related to that, are you planning to incorporate a feature to enable reviews of super users?
Yeah, like a profile kind of deal? Yeah.
Like Airbnb, like
right.
Makes great jam.
Yeah, so definitely that's kind of crossed my mind. As far as V1, I didn't do that, but I don't know if you saw in the demo, but I had kind of like some fake profile images that you could tap, and it like didn't do anything. It was like, haha, do you want this? Like, press yes. You know, so it's kind of like a way for me to get feedback. But yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah. Like, how often do they post? Oh, marijuana, yes. That is a good question. If I see a marijuana post in there, I just have to probably kind of delete it, I guess, from the back end. I don't really have any plan in place for that, but that's definitely a common question. People say, you know, when I tell them about this grand idea of sharing your tomatoes, they're always like, but what about marijuana? Okay, I guess I better pivot.
While you can.
Yeah, well, like, yeah, that's my driver. Yeah, I'm gonna go home and take notes after this.
What do you use for the back end?
The back end is embarrassingly, I'm using Parse, so I have to migrate that over eventually, now that they're defunct, but add it to the list of things to do. But yeah, hopefully get it off of there soon. Yeah. No, you can't at this current time. Originally, I was like, these transactions are so small. Why would people want to pay, you know, via digitally? Especially the target market of like kind of home grower, homey kind of people. They don't really. It's kind of a weird space to be in because they're not really. A lot of them aren't that tech savvy. They're kind of rural. That are like our super users so far. So they're like, what does Apple Pay? I don't know what that is. Just pay me cash. So. It's a good point, though. I mean, it's a very convenient thing to do for people that do not use it. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, revenue sharing model for sure. Yeah, it's just iOS. Unfortunately, I'm not an Android guy, but I'm hoping to get a web app. What's that? Yeah, go ahead. What is your question again?
More of a statement.
More of a statement.
Okay, have you considered doing a revenue share model where you take a piece of the revenue share?
Right, so his statement was you could take a revenue sharing model approach of like taking a piece of every transaction, almost like an Etsy kind of a style. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, there's a few different ways you could approach it, depending on you know, how you view people listing things.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah.